Hey everybody, you listen to the Combo Wombo podcast. I'm Chip Monk, and with me as always is the Mr. Gimpy.
What up, brother?
What's happening, bro? I had groceries delivered today.
Dude, you're living the 2022 lifestyle, dude.
Yeah,
You don't have to leave your house or get up from your fucking chair anymore, man. It is wonderful.
It's great.
Right?
I haven't left my sweatpants all weekend, dude. I just had them deliver like a frozen pizza, so I feel like there's like 3 grocery bags down there, and I was like, I better go grab those quickly because anyone can pick these up. Anyone can take my
Some
dinner.
vagrant is walking by, just strolling right, looks, goes, "Ooh, I love me a tombstone." Grabs that shit and walks away. You find them with making fucking trash can barbecue with your pizza, dude.
Oh man, the audacity, the temerity,
right? How dare this vagrant do this?
Yeah, dude. It's understandable. Yeah, I'm leaving him down there in the lobby, and it's the way my building does things now. It makes them drop deliveries off up front.
Like outside?
No, there's like a little intro, like a little enclave.
Okay.
Into the building, so that's like a little lobby situation where they drop them off there. But like, I don't know, I've had like one package stolen, and because it's like weird shit, like it was like some Loctite and a new bicycle seat, and I'm like, somebody stole that package, and I'm thinking like somebody else just grabbed it by accident. But I think they were like too embarrassed to like bring it down because they probably like, oh, I wonder what they're probably like got back up to their place, and they're like, I've already gone this far with this crime.
Right.
I might as well see what's in here. You know, maybe it's something amazing. Then they open up and they're like, shit. And then they're like, I'm too
bike seat.
they're like, I'm too embarrassed to like take this back down and be like, oh yeah, I didn't know I did order something. They're like, why'd you open it? They're like, just take it back. Just take it. Don't worry. You're asking a lot of questions. I thought it was mine. I'm sorry.
You know, there's something to be said about porch pirates and things like that, where I feel like the ones who are super unscrupulous will just keep it, right? Whatever it is. It's like, oh, hey, I ordered a giant box of dildos. Like, they're like, that's my box of dildos now, you know?
Yeah.
Whether they use it or not. But when it's something like you ever order like something we have like our prescriptions and stuff like delivered to our house. Like my son will have an EpiPen or something. Like the thing is like, what if someone steals a fucking EpiPen? Like, what are you gonna do with that, buddy? You know, it's like. Yeah, whatever.
I also had like some model clips stolen at one part for like, you know, clipping the spruces on like Warhammer stuff.
Yeah.
And it was the same type of thing. I'm like, what are they going to do with like a spruce clipper, dude? Like, it was like a $3 like, you know, piece of equipment. It's nothing. Like, this is such a unique like tool only for this one very specific hobby. Like, and like if you didn't know it, you're not into it, like you just have it, you know.
Well, because I feel you could use it for like other applications though, right? Like as far as modeling goes, right? Or is it just
but like if you're not into modeling, you're not even going to know what it is what I'm trying to say. You know, so you'd be like, what is this, some kind of weird tweezers? Like, yeah, man.
They're using it as a fucking chip clip. It's like on top of their fridge closing their bag of Doritos. You're like,
it's just like,
that's not it, bro. That's not
like
it.
This is the perfect bag of Doritos opener, and you're like, that's all right.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah,
exactly, man. Bro, my week has been I've been dealing with the plague over here, man. Like no COVID, thankfully, but whole family
still other sicknesses that exist.
Yeah, exactly. Like we went old world with it,
media.
dude. We had, you know, like I don't know. I feel it was like flu / strep / whatever. Whole house was infected. I think even my cat was sick. Because she's like, you know, that's like the whole fucking thing, dude. Like my daughter got sick first, son got sick, wife got sick, mother-in-law got sick, and then the other day my wife goes, the cat puked on the couch. I'm like, what the fuck? It wasn't like a hairball, right? It was legitimate vomit. and then like a couple times she puked. She seems fine now, but yeah, exactly, right. I'm like, and still. Nothing touched me, you know, knock on wood or whatever, you know, so I haven't been affected, but it sucks, right? Because when you're the one person better and everyone around you is sick, you're caring for everyone. And then with like kids, and my son's 3, you don't really get time. So I didn't get to like care for my wife as much as I probably should have. And she brought it up the other day too. She's like, you barely checked on me. I was like, you were dead to the world. I was like, the kids were being kids, you know?
Yeah.
And then she's like, you could have at least brought me soup. I'm like, I did. You had delirious with sickness. So, you know,
it's tough too. Cause like it's, with adults, like it's like if something like escalates, they have the ability to like explain that to you.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They can explain it to you or help themselves. Whereas like if a kid like, you know, starts getting worse and like you're not there, that's it. Like they're kind of helpless, you know. It's unfortunate that everybody got sick at the same time, but it's just kind of the reality of it.
Yeah. It's what, you know what, man, I feel so it's pretty, we're a couple weeks off from my birthday right now. My birthday's in February 16th, and the last the 2 birthdays ago I went to Vegas or whatever it was. 3 birthdays ago I went to Vegas. But outside of that, every birthday I've had, like myself or someone in my household has been sick. I haven't had a birthday where I was well in 3 years now. So fingers crossed, nothing. I mean,
this is
attacks me.
The hot zone of cold and flu season.
I know, man. It's like when people are all like, "Oh, winter birthdays suck," right? Like you have no idea. like you summer birthday people, someone is gonna go down with a huge case of allergies or something, right? Winter birthdays, it's like, oh yeah, they have the flu, the bubonic plague. Just like it escalates really quick. Someone's going. I remember a friend was driving to my birthday one time when I was probably 11 or so. It was like that weird like elementary school birthday party, and they got into a car accident on the way to my place. I'm like,
yeah, man. I remember we're heading back to your old place back when you were still with the rest of the fam.
Yeah,
and it was in the middle of the winter. And it was like a blizzard, and there's like snow on both sides of this car, and it was higher than the car, and the snow was still coming down. And I was like, "What are we doing?" I specifically remember like thinking like, "Why are we doing like we're making like this crazy journey through like a blizzard to like go hang out with our buddy? Like this is nuts. There's like zero visibility on the road, but we're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, but I'm like sitting in the back seat, I'm like, well, it's like you're almost in a movie or watching yourself like third person, like somehow like if you're not driving, like it makes everything better or just less real.
I feel that too, right? You don't like. Even if I don't really trust the driver, the fact that it's not me, I'm automatically more like trusting. Like if I get him, like I don't know how this dude drives, but as it's happening, I'm like, nah, he got it, he has it. It's whatever. And truthfully, like living in a winter state, like I mean, I went from Minnesota to Alaska for a bit, like driving in. Like it's the same damn thing, really. Yeah. It wasn't any different. And then, I feel the southern drivers who come up to like the northern states in their first winter, that's who I'm weary of.
Yeah.
So I see Florida plates in the middle of winter. I'm just like,
I'm gonna just give them some extra space, like slow it all the way down.
For sure, dude. And where I live now, man, like people are just fucking gunning it all the time. So the other day I went to the store and then,
it's
on
really
that
weird,
like snowfall, that like 6 to 8 inch snowfall we got, like that's dumped real quick. I was coming back from a chiropractor appointment, and I was driving as you do in the winter when it's slippery as hell out, and this like 4-door sedan just blows past me, cuts the lane over, just flying. Snow's kicking up behind him. There's already like zero visibility, right? And it's even less at this point. Yeah. So I'm driving up and I see the lights red, and I see like just the brake lights of this car, and I see the brake lights just fly through the light and then continue sliding through the next light on top of that as the dude is still holding onto the brakes. I'm like, welcome to the winter, motherfucker. Like, what are you doing?
What were you thinking?
It's like the old adage, man. Like yes, if you have 4-wheel drive, that's great, but it's not 4-wheel stop, I was talking about that with some of the people I play Halo with. Spork mentioned that exact thing, and I'm like, that is the adage that people have to live by in winter states. And
wow.
Like new drivers in southern, like people coming up from the south, don't realize that, right? Shout out Spork, by the way. But yeah, man, it's nuts. As far as like activity, I really only got a chance to work on the game last night. But I was doing level design stuff, and I was having a good time with it. I got new tile sets imported. You inspired me, Chip. To buy some packs. Actually, I bought some packs.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, dude. They're so cheap, and like even if you want to change it later, it gives you a good base. Like even if like you're using a tile set, you already have it like kind of mapped out. So it's like, all right, I just have to like paint over this basically.
Yes. So
even if like, but like it looks good too. Like it's so motivating. Like just seeing like more stuff get like thrown together.
The way I look at it too, and as we move forward in this content creation space, right? Like you and I were doing podcasts, we stream, we're making games. I feel supporting other people who are in this space really kind of drives me. I'm like, I would like someone else to support me like this, right? So even if I release something that's $2, if someone sends that $2, I am over the moon, So shout out to the people who GameAssets.com or Game Art Assets or whatever, just putting your stuff up there. itch.io, all those packs, man. You guys are doing God's
open
work.
art, like for
sure.
free stuff. Like people put stuff up there for free, like, and then the Unity Asset Store. I've been frequent guest there where. I've even watched like a GDC talk where a guy was talking about like how they rapid develop games, and they're like, if there's something that we want to like build or use like that's already up there, we'll just pay like the $20 and like throw it in our game real quick just to like have like a quick prototype, see how it feels, and then like if we don't like it, we just toss it. Like it's not a big deal, but it's like building up like a tool chest of a library of usable things. Like I think that's been my bigger problem is like asset management now, because I have so many different where I'm like, I don't know, maybe I want to make a space game at some point, but yeah man, so you got your packs together, you found something.
I got packs together. I got I sat down, did some pathing and stuff. I took a break last night, just played some Rocket League. So, when you're coding and you're in it so long, even if you're on dark mode where you're just looking at nothing but lines of code, it starts like kind of blurring together. Whenever you've been looking at it too long, I'm like, why is this not working? So
this is the first time this has ever happened to me. I've been having dreams about working on my game while I've like this week while I go to sleep, and I'm like, that's how much like little things in it have been bothering me. Where like I'll go to bed, I'm like, oh, this is me like working on the character controller in my sleep. Then I wake up and I'm like, what the hell was that? Like that was crazy. But man, it's it gets to the point where like the screen starts to blur stuff. The way I've been doing is compartmentalizing it. Where
yes, sir. We spoke about that a few like 10, 20 episodes ago on how to manage your game. Yeah. Look at you.
I've been just I will set like a goal for my week because I know I have less hours to work on it during the week, where I'm like, oh, when I get home from work, if I'm feeling like it, I'll have like 2 to 3 hours, maybe if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And so I've been like trying to paint with broader strokes during that time, because I'm like, any like little system that I'm actually working on, I'm not going to be able to do. So I was like, all right, during this week, I'm going to work on like the office level and like just get that done. So I started designing that, and I started thinking like just bigger picture on like how will I tie this all together gameplay wise, and it's been a struggle, man. So I had to like sit down and like write out ideas, and once I started writing out the ideas, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to like change up how I'm gonna do this entire thing. So it's nuts.
I will say, with the level design thing and getting packs, seeing how fast things are coming together is really, really, really nice. And I got my my dash mechanic figured out, and it's been fun. Now I just have to make the AI react to it properly. But I think when I first set out, I told you it'd be like a 3 boss, maybe 4 game, stealth game set in a school, and like currently just walking around and dashing is fun. So it's one of those things where those like little steps where it's like creating a full game. You feel like that sense of pride.
Somehow you're making Sonic. Every game you start out with, you end up with Sonic at the end. Is that
but it's like I said, I've been out of the actual game creation thing for 2 years, 3 years since the kids were born, I guess. We worked on like one game jam something or other, but but it's nice getting back to it, and it's like carving out time has been the issue, but for the time that I've gotten with it, it's been rewarding, man. So I mean, like I said, doing this podcast, talking to you, it definitely forces me to keep working on it. Instead of just like, hey, I'm working on a game, and then no one mentions it for a while. I'm like, yeah, I haven't worked on this for weeks. Fuck it. So
I don't know, I have like the opposite problem where like I talk too much shit, and then like people come up to me like, so how's that game thing going? I'm like, you haven't worked on that for like 5 months, dude. Like, I don't know if it's like dead, but like it's definitely on life support.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely fun, and like it hits that sweet spot of like challenging for yourself, where it's like there's enough variety, especially as like a solo dev, where you can get into like the pocket and do something you're extremely comfortable with, or you can go to like just the outer edges of like your knowledge and like really like push yourself to like make something. And after like a few hours, like you can actually achieve that thing, and like there's such a rewarding feeling of like, oh yeah, I did. Even if it's like just integrating systems. Like my big problem that I had Friday into Saturday was working with the Heretic Unity demo scene, where they're using like a triple S scatter surface shader for skin.
Yes.
And that thing is a pain in the ass. I ended up calling up the professor on the phone because I needed tech support, because it was like you had to use GitHub to pull down like packages, but it wasn't doing that. And I feel like both you and I are fairly intelligent gentlemen. We're at least enough to follow instructions. And like this pack had instructions, and I was going along with it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I was like, I'll hit up the professor. He uses GitHub. He probably knows like something I'm missing. And he's like, oh, it has to be in like the folder with like the index that you're trying to pull us from. And I'm like, yeah, there's no index, but I added it to like the main, line of code. And he's like, try restarting your computer. And I was like, are you literally telling me to turn it on and off again? He's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, yeah, hold on. Yeah, of course it worked. Of course. I ended up calling this dude like 8 a.m. I'm like, oh, I need tech support, bro. Like, he's like, yeah, try turning it on and off again. I was like, damn it, that worked. He's like, have you tried it? And I was like, no, I thought I would talk to you before I did that. But it did occur to me to try and turn it on and off again. But I had like an audio, like you said, like where you have like music or something going. I had an audiobook going in the background. I was like, do I really want to like write down like a timestamp and like worry about this? And it should just work in theory. But
you think, the big I have a very, very big project coming up at my day job. I'm making a glossary of all of our accessible items or whatever, without getting too much into it because it's proprietary. But in the end, I'm going through 4,000 lines of code, and and it's showing you what everything does. So it's a big project, right? And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at my game dev stuff, and I'm like, do I really want to look at code on both ends of my life? Like it's been nice because like my day job, while like it's been a lot of just like quick hitter stuff, and it hasn't been a big issue. And then like the game dev side has been like bigger issues, but it's been stuff I've been retaining and then learning as I go. Now I'm worried, right, that it's going to just make the one half not as enjoyable. But I
was just listening to this guy talk about the Game Boy Zelda games, and they were talking about like the Dream ones, where like what the team did for like their fun. There was like an after work club, and the guy like doing the commenting on the YouTube video was like, hey guys, maybe have your club not involve things that are work related.
Yes.
It was like, maybe get away from video game making when you're not working on making video games. But
I will say, not to cut you off, but I just wanted to get this thought out. When I have this thing that's popped up again when I'm working on a current project, I think about the next project like all the time.
Yeah.
So I as I said, I made a little auto runner for my kids. I'll probably replace their sprites just to not put them on blast on the internet for people. But I'll show it at another time here. It's very bare bones. It's just like you jump over one thing and it just generates randomly. I thought of expanding on that and just making it kind of a little more expansive for them, because they love autorunner games, and a lot of them are just full of ads, right? They're just designed.
It's pretty ridiculous
to get that for kids. So I'm like, well, if I make them one and they like it better because it stars them, and like I was talking to my daughter, I was like, hey, what powers would you want? She's like, I want to fly and I want to shoot things. I'm like, oh, that's a little violent, but whatever. So she's gonna be like a little Rambo and run it through. And then I was talking to my son, and I was like, so what do you want your powers to be, Monty? And he goes, I want to, and he's 3, keep in mind, so he goes, I want to punch the bad guys like this, and he starts punching, and I'm like, all right. So I got some gameplay ideas. So once I get some stuff situated, I'm gonna add some powers for them just to kind of bolt those through levels and stuff. So that part's been pretty fun.
I guess superpower is just like punch a guy. He's
yeah, right.
It's like I want my superpower to be to punch a dude, and you're like, that's not very super, but yeah, all right.
They've been watching like the Batman animated series lately, so they're kind of into superheroes and stuff at the moment.
Cartoonish violence,
yeah. So we'll see. But then one of the types of games I always make first whenever I learn a new engine outside of a platformer is a shmup. And I realized I haven't made a shmup in forever, and I would really like to use that auto generator bullet generating thing that I found. So I think that's going to be on the horizon too. Just to do a shmup. So it's been a while. Have you played that first shmup I made like way back in the day? It was like when we dealt with a torque one.
I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah. So it's been a while. That one was a horizontal one, so I want to do a vertical.
Bro, I was watching a video, a retrospective on Devil May Cry, the series.
Yes.
And I beat all of those games. And I'm watching this retrospective. I'm like, I don't remember anything that happened in these games. And I put hours into them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think that's like, and I feel like normally I have a pretty good memory, but like, something about like video games, like same thing with like Darksiders. I played like the entire Darksiders series, and like I was watching somebody play it. I was like, I recognize this game. I couldn't tell you shit that happens like plot wise in like these video games. Like, I don't know. Like I have like a horrible like memory when it comes to like the plot of video games for some reason.
It has to emotionally resonate with me, I think, for a lot of them. Some plots I could tell you word for word, like obviously, Master Chief and Halo, I could tell, like one time for an English project in high school, I just wrote the entire backstory and current plot of Halo, and it was pretty epic. There's that, but there's other games that I could tell you a shit ton about, like Dark Souls, for example, Demon Souls. Like I've read so much about that game where it's just lodged in my skull. It'll never leave. And I don't even consider myself like that knowledgeable on Dark Souls, but I've read so much. Like my shout out Sir Solace and Sir Trike for more Dark Souls knowledge, but. It's like it's super interesting. I think it's how the game displays its world. Ninja Gaiden, I think that's one of them where I love that game to death. That's one of my favorite games of all time. But outside, like I always forget the plot of the second one, like every time. Like I kill a giant fiend and whatever.
Isn't that the one where like the dude who trains you's the bad guy at the end?
That was the first one.
Is it? Damn.
Yeah. See, but I mean, I think. A lot of times like gameplay trumps story in a lot of these things. Like the story can be serviceable and you realize it's serviceable later on. So we'll see.
It's I don't know. I've been thinking more and more about just like story and like tying everything in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been looking at like how to design like better puzzles. Cause like my game is going to have like some sort of like Resident Evil style puzzles in it. But so I went back and I looked at like all the puzzles for Resident Evil 1. There are a lot of just push puzzles in that game that I just forgot about. Yeah. Yep. Where it's like, push a box into like this and then push like these statues to turn a statue. And I'm like, man, these are like the worst, like bottom tier trash puzzles. And I was like, it's so easy to do. I think I could do that. I could program that. I'm pretty sure I could make that happen. So I don't know. More push puzzles
can actually be super fun though. Like you gotta if you do it well.
I've been just that was like the 3, like just writing down like the game. I was like, I want like 3 core pillars of the game. It was like explore, travel, and fight. So it's like exploring is going to be like the puzzle based, traveling is going to be getting from one point to the other, and then the fighting is going to be the monster shenanigans that'll happen eventually. But as soon as I like wrote that down, I was like, oh man, like so many more ideas like started branching, and I was like, all right, I could do like puzzles. It's hard to like game balance a game for puzzles. Yeah. So I was like, all right, they need to be just optional, straight up and down. All right, I'm not going to hard lock travel to any puzzle that's happening, but I'm going to make it travel easier or give you perks based on like your ability to like solve like puzzles that aren't that difficult. But it's just something to think about. And like when you start thinking about that, it like changes the whole way you design like your layout for your level. Because like before I was like, it'll be easy, it'll be straightforward, and it is not.
yes, for sure. Yeah, man. So I gotta just give you a shout out, give you your flowers now, man, because you're keeping me on task for game making, man, and it's I look forward to doing this podcast each week because not only, I get to just talk to a buddy for a while, but, we update each other on the games that we're working on, and it's inspiring, so
Yeah.
so appreciate that. There's something I did want to talk about today, though, for the greater pod and for the greater audience. Big news happened in the past week.
You tricked me into coming into this game, this podcast where we talk about games and lull me into a false sense of security, dude.
Straight dead. So probably the biggest news that everyone's talking about right now, and yes, we're going to talk about it too. Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard for $67 billion with a B dollars.
Billion.
It's like 68 point, or it's like either 67 or it's like 68.7 or something like that. It's like almost 69 or something. But just fucking huge, right? This is this is bigger than the Bethesda one for sure. And Microsoft said a few months ago.
I mean, Activision Blizzard's massive.
Yeah,
too.
we covered this on the pod actually when they said that they're going to acquire one more. They're working on one more big deal, and we thought, what was it? We thought Sega, right? And what else did you? I think you said EA, didn't you?
I might have said that, and you're like, "There's no way in hell that'll ever happen."
Yeah, no, neither of us even thought Activision Blizzard. I thought they were too big and too successful at the time.
Yeah, you're like, Blizzard already owns it, and blah blah blah. Like, I think that was our exact conversation. So.
Yeah, because I was like, Activision with COD. There's no way in hell, right? Because COD just is doing gangbusters.
I was like, maybe they'll get a piece of it, a little taste, and you're like, no, they'll never do that. They got the whole damn thing, dude.
Right? Just holy shit. That's the biggest news. It's like Sony's stock took a huge dive because of Microsoft's acquisition. People were worried. They're like, oh yeah, Call of Duty is going to be platform exclusive. The night we're like, World of Warcraft's going on Xbox. It's going to have console play and
so
all
ridiculous.
That shit. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. I mean,
it's people who don't understand business or video games.
Yes.
Say this. Like, no, I don't think there'll be exclusive titles based on existing IPs. But
I think exclusive DLC.
Yeah. There might be exclusive DLC. There might be stuff shifting from like their horrible EA Origin stuff over to Xbox Live.
Activision, bro. Activision.
Is it Activision? Was Activision have
BattleNet?
BattleNet. There might be shit shifting. You might have your Overwatch. Maybe that'll go free to play, as people have been speculating it might do for a while now.
Yeah.
I don't know. All their stuff, like, I don't think there's going to be any major shakeups. Like, aside from like maybe like how you interface with some of the games with BattleNet and in the future wise, yes, I think like the direction will like this is like moving a giant cruise ship. You're not going to like 180, like, oh, this stuff's going to happen exclusive. It's going to be like small degrees of turns, like over decades. It's not going to be like, all right, and now we're doing this. Sometimes that happens, but it's extremely rare. And people who spend, $69 billion don't gamble like that, where they're like, let's just gamble it all now. Let's put it all on double green, boys. We're going to switch everything. Everything is just Microsoft only. And it's like, but sir, we're printing money everywhere else. And it's like, yeah, but we don't care. We're going to go for them double ups. And it's like, no, man, like nobody thinks they're going to double up like an acquisition of that size immediately. And like, they just want to keep printing money as it's been doing. So if anything, they might extend an olive branch and have more exclusive content for Nintendo and Sony for their games wise. I think the bigger shift you're going to see is like how you interface in the future with a lot of their content. But I think that's years down the line personally, but I don't know. We've been right about a lot of stuff. So
fucking they changed the name of the podcast to Nostradamus. Fucking predicting shit every time.
It's pretty creepy actually. Like the more stuff we predict correctly, like the more creeped out I get by us. Like,
bro, yeah, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
It's insane.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know, man. Do you think they're gonna do like a big 180, start doing only exclusive stuff?
You'll see it in franchises. So currently, well, actually, I don't think they've done it in a while. Like the
I don't think they hate money that much though. Like that's the thing where it's like, oh, we're gonna limit it to like this.
They want to kneecap Sony, but they don't want to get rid of the competition because Microsoft has already gone through monopoly, proceedings. They want to kneecap the competition, but they don't want to destroy their competition. So
I don't even think they think of games as their competition though. Like as a platform.
And then the thing.
Yeah, they think of Microsoft as their business. They don't think of it as like Xbox as the business. Like,
Right.
and they've talked about getting rid of Xbox for years now. Like, every other year, like if you go back in time and like look up news articles, like, oh, Sony,
and all that,
like, oh, they're going to get rid of Xbox this year. Are they going to do a new console this year? It's like, no, man. Like every other year, they talk about like maybe Xing out the Xbox and just having it be PCs, because really they don't make their money. They didn't make that $69 billion. And I'm going to just keep saying 60 dollars. It's a better number.
Nice.
It's more memorable. They didn't make that $69 billion off Xbox games. All right. They made it off like consumer front end and enterprise and B2B business to business stuff that they do software wise. This is just like a nice portfolio acquisition for them. And I think high end, I think they want some of the better, bigger thinkers that handle infrastructure and do stuff like networking from Activision Blizzard to like come over and like help build out their infrastructure for like streaming games, because I think they're thinking as games as a service moving forward. They're not thinking of a platform to integrate, but like, that's what a lot of these, I mean, that's what Stadia was, the Google Stadia, if you remember that.
Still around, still kicking for a little bit here.
It's still going. But like that was like Google's thought process as well, but they didn't have the games for it. So Microsoft has the games for this. So I don't know. That's my thought process on it. I don't know. What do you think?
So I will say, their main goal is to get more people onto the platform in the Xbox, PC, whatever. So having Blizzard Activision titles on Game Pass is going to be huge. And you're right, streaming these games will be huge. I hope that some course correction comes. Like Bobby Kotick obviously needs to go. He's included, but word has it that he's
nowhere, baby.
He's gone or he's going to resign, or he's gone as soon as the acquisition.
That man
complete.
Is a cockroach, bro. He's going to be part of it forever, dude.
But I think some of the franchises desperately need help because Activision and Activision Blizzard have been fumbling their goodwill and their historic franchises for like 5 years now minimum. Have you ever had it where franchises such as Warcraft and Diablo have hate? Like, no way in hell in the history when it was just Blizzard. And now
I've been hating on them for a while, bro. Like when they started introducing
Blizzard, you've been hating on.
Yeah,
Pure
after
Blizzard,
Activision Blizzard,
I guarantee you have not.
Yeah, definitely. But as soon as they added like the like money for gold, like in WoW, and like all this like microtransaction nonsense, even like in Overwatch, where it's like a full price game, but they still have loot boxes in it, which is pretty standard fare, but like it never really was for Blizzard, like type of thing. I don't know. They're like when they broke up StarCraft 2 into like bite-sized meals, where it's like it's going to be a 3-part game now, and it's like just give me one game, guys.
No, I mean. StarCraft, I forgive it more because of
exactly because it's Blizzard, because they built up so much goodwill.
No.
Yeah, it's the rose-tinted glasses, boys.
No, I break it up because of how the story was presented, right? Like the multiplayer, they just left, which I think that was the wrong move. To
you do it for Final Fantasy as well, like Sony 7.
Let me get this out. So with StarCraft, right? The multiplayer was feature complete. You had Protoss, Zerg, and the Terran, but in the campaign, you only played as the Terran. So new players coming into StarCraft from scratch had no fucking idea how to play Protoss or Zerg. Yeah. So they were fucking hamstringed from the start of all these legacy players coming in and Zerg rushing your ass or Pylon fucking stacking and blimping your ass down, right? So So they had to learn from scratch, and the learning curve was so fucking sharp. StarCraft 2 is amazing, don't get me wrong. Releasing, Heart of the Swarm and I forget the Protoss campaign name, but releasing those separately, from a legacy player standpoint, getting to focus like a full size campaign on each faction, I personally enjoyed. But as looking at it from a new player perspective, I think that the Protoss and Zerg should have had their own campaigns within the Wings of Liberty first campaign that came out to introduce newer players to the Zerg and Protoss, because, when you jumped online and jumped into like the ladder queues, you were fucked immediately. They
had a really big onboarding issue with the StarCraft stuff.
Yes.
But do you forgive like the other franchises that kind of like break up stuff like that, like the Final Fantasy VII remake, where they have busted it out as well for like storytelling purposes, but they promise like a full product, like what is like 7-8 years that game's been in development now.
I do forgive that. That because playing through it, I understand. There's no way in hell they could have made that a full game and actually met any kind of launch window. So I do forgive that. Certain games where you can tell when you complete the game, right? When it's just like this abrupt ending, it doesn't make sense. You can tell. Halo 2 being one of the bigger ones where you're like, yeah, they got rushed to hell on that, and I don't think expansions or multiple parts to games are wrong. Movies have done it for ages and everyone's fine with that. Or did you just want Godfather Part 1, 2, and 3 to be one 12-hour long movie, Yeah. Like, did you want Kill Bill to be an 8-hour long adventure, Like,
it should have been.
It could have been
the Lord of the Rings 24-hour.
But I think that the way Blizzard has handled their big projects has been really shitty. How they handled Overwatch in general. I linked you the Death of a Game video, shout out Nerd Slayer, on Overwatch, and it made they tried to make an esport from scratch and they had no idea what the game was at first. They had one of the greatest marketing campaigns ever for Overwatch. It was the biggest game. It's the biggest game for about a year and a half, and like they just squandered it without any idea how to manage a community or build an esport.
But like neither of those things are easy to do though as well.
Exactly, but they made it. But they ruined the game by trying to do it. They didn't let it happen organically. They're trying to shove things in for more money. And like the reason why esports work right now is every esport that is popular at the moment has had grassroots roots. You know what I mean? Like everything started off from fans
Sailor
going,
Moon
I love this
game.
Exactly. I love this game. I want to do a tournament for it. We're going to do that. The bigger guys get wind of it, and then it builds on top of that. It doesn't start from from scratch. Any game that starts going, yeah, we're going to be competitive as hell right now, and we're going to have tournaments right away. $1 million prize pool. If we're looking at Valve and Artifact, fucking let your game breathe first, man. If you're having a child, you're not saying that your child's going to be the fucking next MLB star, right? It's like yeah, I gotta, I got Barry Bonds in the womb. Let's go. Give him $1 million contract right now. No, you don't do that.
You're trying to get signed right now. We're getting real prospect baby here.
You let it build, and Activision has become so money hungry where they don't let games build. So I'm hoping, and Microsoft is not innocent in this either, but they've proven that they're better managed, especially now after the Xbox One fiasco. It's better managed now.
They seem to allow their studios to run the show.
Right? Yes.
They seem to have deadlines and like a content plan, and then they farm it out to their studios. They don't seem to be like down their neck and be like, all right, you're switching to this engine. You have to have this. If you don't get a Metacritic score of this, like you're not getting your bonuses, like all stuff that Activision has been known for. They'll make record profits and then they'll fire a budget.
Yep. So I think that, like the next Blizzard game's coming out, right? Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal, and Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2, I think the release date now is sometime in 2023. Like, what the fuck is going on when you're making basically a glorified expansion? How is it taking this long? I think that game's going to do poorly, truthfully. I think that Blizzard fucked up so hard that there's no way back. Like, thankfully, we've had that time. We have
people
all those
just
great
kind
characters.
Of moved on,
Yeah, it's over. Like I plan on getting a Reaper figurine like behind me there, because Reaper was one of my favorite characters that they introduced. I thought he was awesome, but they just screwed it. Diablo's one of my favorite franchises ever, and I have zero faith in Diablo 4. But now that Microsoft is at the helm, maybe they'll get a project manager who knows what the fuck they're doing. Maybe that game could be.
It's tough. Like all the big names have been leaving. Like everybody, like the lead designers for Diablo, for World of Warcraft.
My buddy Sir Solace did this, and this stuck with me for a while. He was making a retrospective on Crash Bandicoot, right? And he reached out to the Naughty Dog developers, to like the OGs, to get their thoughts on Crash. And one of the developers came out and said that it's great, you enjoyed it. What do I think of where it's at now? He said it doesn't matter. The Crash is in the hands of the fans now. You know, like it's like we made it, yes, but it's like they will decide where Crash goes from here, which I thought was an incredibly profound statement from someone who made this guy, you know, who made a beloved character, because he's right. You know, the original creators aren't going to be around forever. You know, Miyamoto, like Mario 3D World. He was like creative consultant. He didn't brainstorm that game. You know, it was other people in his team that learned under him. Like
the Metal
Sonic,
Gear Rising or whatever with the sword. What was that one?
Yeah, that was KJ, or not. That was
Ninja Theory.
No, it was Platinum Games.
Platinum. Yeah,
Platinum Games made it because of Kojima going, I don't know how to make this game fun, you know. So Kojima's like looked at Platinum and goes, hey, they know how to make action games. Let's pivot this here. You know, I think that's amazing because, you know, after you create something, like think of games as your children, right? You want them to blossom and do well on their own at that point, you know? Like you don't need the original creator every time. And I don't think people get that, but it's been proven time and time again. People with a great understanding of the game, fans, can come in and make something amazing. Sonic Mania being an amazing example. Sonic Mania has been the best Sonic game in the past 20 years, you know, easily. Yeah. Easily, Sonic Team couldn't make a good Sonic game if it came up and, you know, bit them in the ass. So, you know, I hope
just struggle, man. It seems so misguided.
Yeah. So Sonic Mania proved, just let people who are passionate about these games come out and do it. Even Halo Infinite, for all of its problems, you know, there's some dedicated people behind it who loved Halo, and it comes out in the campaign. I don't know, man. I just feel that we like gaming. This is the first time where in gaming's history that movies had to go through too, where it's been a new age for creativity, and we have legacy franchises that are getting new blood.
I'm sick of it. I'm disgusted. I say give some new ideas a shot, but you know, there's too much money at hand where like they kind of have like an idea of like how much like a sequel will make versus what an original IP will make, and there's definitely like a lot of older legacies that need new blood, and I'm more sick of like the re-franchising, remake type situations where you have like, oh, we're gonna remake Resident Evil again, we're gonna remake Pikmin, we're gonna remake Zelda again. It's like, you know, how about like one of your 50 other games in your catalog? Like,
I love that every one of those things you mentioned, none of them have had a like a remake that rebooted the franchise. You know, like
it's not like remakes, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sick of the HD remastered. Like, there hasn't been like a remake to like a soft reboot, like you're talking about, to like re-kickstart a franchise, like a beloved franchise. Like, I don't know,
Tomb Raider,
like with something like Tomb Raider, King's Quest, Star Commander. Yeah, there's like, you know, there's like a thousands of these like titles. Those are like just off the top of my head.
Clank, you know, there's been some games. But you're sick of it. You want new IPs is the main thing.
I either want like new IPs or to like go dig into like the vault of like the existing IPs that they have. I don't want any game that's been out in the last 15 years, basically. Just give me anything older than that, and I'll be happy. I feel like if it's been into the 15 years, it's lived through like one or two console generations at this point, and I need to switch it up completely.
I think that.
But that's me personally. Personally, that's how I feel about it. I know, like
the Activision Blizzard thing. You know, I want competent project managers is the main thing, because I do love these franchises that I've mentioned, and the wider scope. I think they should move away from a new Call of Duty every year. I've said that multiple times. Having one Call of Duty a year doesn't give that individual game the chance to grow or breathe naturally. It has a time frame. And yes, Warzone being separate helps, but I think that if you want the base game to succeed, you need like a 2-3 year gap between games.
They talk about like making that weird Call of Duty launcher like they have in Southeast Asia, where it's like you just like log on and like you pay a subscription for your Call of Duties now. Yeah. And it's just all the Call of Duties from like a direct launcher type situation.
Right. They did talk about that. Yeah. But I think they have dormant franchises too that haven't been, like Toys for Bob became a Call of Duty maintenance team, and Toys for Bob made Crash Bandicoot 4, which is fucking amazing. They want to work on a new Spyro as well. You know, they're bringing these beloved platform mascot characters back, and they did a great job with Crash 4. They did the remaster for the first 3 games in both series, And then they're all like, okay, good, you guys made us some money, you had some goodwill, you're gonna be working on Call of Duty for the rest of your lives. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, server maintenance, that's you, texture packs. It's like, what the fuck? Like, these guys are talented as hell. So I hope that in the case of like Toys for Bob, that Microsoft realizes they have a hell of a studio on their hands, and then they should be making games. I would actually like Toys for Bob to handle a Banjo-Kazooie game, because it's under Microsoft's umbrella, and I think Rare already squandered their chance because Nuts and Bolts sucked. So give the franchise to another studio within your umbrella.
Did they make that like Snake game? Was that like some Rare offshoot people? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like that 3D Snake game? No.
Yeah, that was somebody else with in the vein of. It's so close. It just stole their whole essence, their whole DNA. Yes. Like, you know what? Your whole design philosophy, that's ours now. We're taking that because you don't know what you're doing, old man.
Yeah.
We have deep power now.
Is Guitar Hero, Tony Hawk, stuff like that, which I'm like, I think those franchises all had their time in the sun.
I think they lost the Tony Hawk rights. They've like had one last game that they dropped with Lil Wayne in it, I want to say. They dropped
they just did the remake of 1 and 2.
Yeah,
HD.
That remake was like that was like the last game in their contract with the rights to Tony Hawk, I want to say. So yeah, I remember hearing that, and because people are like, "Are you going to fix this game?" Because it came out busted as hell. But it seemed like it was just kind of like
it came out
no, it was a shit show.
You're talking about the remake? Because I know Ride came out shit. Really?
Yeah,
I don't own it, but I have friends who own it.
Exactly.
I don't think they've had issues.
I think they ended up patching some of it, but I think it was mostly just like under contract type of situation where like, oh, we got one last game we have to do. Let's just get it done.
Okay.
I don't know. Huh. So I don't know. Anyone could pick up Tony Hawk at this point. Anyone.
But do it well.
I don't know. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Was such a thing of that arcade style skateboarding thing was such a niche where we'll see. Like, I kind of wish Neversoft had the rights again. But
how do you make skateboarding fun again, dude?
Skate mastered it. There's gonna be a new Skate. Like, we'll see. It's just such a cultural hit that you can't recapture the magic, but I think you can. I think going over the top works well for Tony Hawk.
Can we get a new Jet Set radio? If we're talking about
Talk to Sega, bro. Talk to Sega, man. They got those rights just under wraps. I don't want to do Jet Set, but yeah, man. I think that so overall, I'm excited about the Activision Blizzard acquisition. I hope that it makes these beloved franchises beloved again. I'm not saying that Microsoft isn't, the empire in disguise, because they, they definitely are. But, hopefully good things come from it, because Activision was obviously, they had the worst year ever in terms of like moral standing, and also like just the games they produced were just butthole. Let's be honest. I'm excited for it. Hopefully they get all of the moral shit under control, and a new project manager, things like that. Get rid of Kotick, and this is a podcast about games, and I'm looking forward to the games that come out under this umbrella.
Hopefully they can shift out some of the bad people that are there, and because there's a lot of good people, maybe they can get some talent back that left because of the way things were being ran. Who knows? It's a brighter days ahead, hopefully, type of situation, but I think it'll be mostly business as usual, personally.
For a bit.
Yeah. Any major transition, there's going to be a little bit of like a grace period where things slowly get shifted from like, you bring in new people at the top and new people towards the bottom, and like they try to learn the systems and integrate properly across like how you're doing things in your business. But a lot of there's so much money at stake. Like nobody wants to, like, again, they're not going to like 180 degrees. Like it's only exclusive Microsoft stuff now. From now on, everything we're pulling it from every other store. No, none of that's happening. Like, but in the future, maybe. But yeah, I think like you're saying, like it's definitely good things will hopefully come from this, especially like a lot of mismanagement just with like franchises, as well as like they fumbled like the Warcraft remake. They fumbled. I guess Diablo 2 remake was pretty good. I played some of that when it was in beta.
Fantastic.
A lot of people love that. So I don't know. It seemed like they're learning some of their lessons. Like, And
sometimes you gotta learn the lesson multiple times, brother.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a huge corporation. There's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of different departments. Like a lot of that stuff they farm out to other like countries as well. So
truthfully, I'd like their Ricochet anti-cheat in more games, because Call of Duty has been a pleasure to play online, with that anti-cheat. We'll see how it goes in the future, but as of right now, it's fantastic, and I'd like it in more things. That's what I'd say. That's one of the big things for me, because as a Halo player right now, there's no anti-cheat in it, and it's pissing me off. So,
just copy paste it over.
Oh yeah, copy paste that shit. All right, bro. I think that's our time, man.
That'll do it, guys.
Bye. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Well, for
GG guys, GG.
For I'm Mr. Gimpy. That's
Chipmunk.
And we will see you guys all next week. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time on
Wombo.
Wombo. Take care.
Peace.